Together we are but first coffee. Susie's just our host, but what matters most is we are a team. Together we are all safe here, and so are you. Among friends and mods we are safe. We talk about trauma, break down drama of life, death, happy or sad, even mad. We discuss it all here. Together we will thrive, not just survive. We will dry each other's tears, celebrate big or small wins, and chase away the fears. Together we fight cults or fight addictions. If not with experience, with love, and we don't judge. Please understand, this is a safe place to land. Please understand, you're not alone. This is a safe place to land. Together we thrive, not just survive. We will dry each other's tears, celebrate big or small wins, and chase away the fears. Because we are but first coffee, and Susie welcomes us all here. Together we are but first coffee, and Susie.
Hey, everybody. It's good to see you. Welcome back. We are on night 2 of our first annual Vlogmas. If you don't know what Vlogmas is, it's simple. It's just something that creators, some, not all, get together and do on between the 1st of December and the 25th of December. Every day we are supposed to try to pledge to do some sort of a live or a video or something. So we're supposed to make some sort of video every day between yesterday and Christmas. So I'm gonna go. Mine are gonna be the 1st through the 24th, because then on the 25th I'm gonna be with the village and do their annual 24-hour thing that they do for Thanksgiving and again on Christmas. So I'll be on that. So I'm actually still gonna be live on the 25th, but it'll be with them. So you'll have to watch out for that and keep watching every night, y'all. We're gonna have all kinds of stuff. I've got between today and Sunday, I've got 8 shows planned. 6 are Vlogmas Christmas themed type shows, and then a couple of them are like regular content. So we're gonna do that. We'll have um, just regular. We'll have Christmas shows, and then we'll have our regular kind of content too. And sometimes, believe it or not, the two can kind of meet. So like one day this week we're doing cults and Christmas. So yeah, that's kind of a twofer, I think. It's culty, but it's Christmas at the same time. So how's everybody doing? It is so good to see everybody. I'm so glad to have you back. Um yeah, do you notice that Heat My Shorts is back as a mod? We were blessed to have him rejoin us as a mod starting today. We're very happy to have him here. So everybody, say hi to Steve. It is so good to have you here. I'm always, always, always so glad to have my mods here. They're my friends. They're my biggest supporters. And the reason that they're mods is because they were here all the time anyway. So it's like, okay, if you're gonna be there every day, you wanna just like, be a mod. You are very welcome, Steve. You are very welcome. But yes, round of applause for Steve. So glad to have him back. So I hope everybody's doing good, staying warm or cool, because I'm guessing that our viewers that are in Australia, it's pretty hot there right now, I think. So I'm really glad that they're with us and hope that they're staying cool. Remember last night I told you that we had, those advent calendars to open and that they were gonna be little tiny ornaments. I was gonna show you what I got last night and today before we get started. So my advent calendars, Mark's I'm not sure where he put his. His is it's, what is it? It's national parks. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have all these little ornaments, and then we're gonna just start putting them on our little mini tree. So this weekend, I gotta get the little mini tree out and get all these ornaments starting on it. So anyway, mine is Dolly Parton and Queen, as in Freddie Mercury Queen. So anyway, here was my first little Dolly Parton. Look how cute she is. It's cute. She's just tiny, but yeah. I think they needed to make her boobs a little bigger, but okay. And then these were yesterday's. This one, if I can pick them up, I need to trim my nails, y'all. This one was my queen, and so it's a little Freddie Mercury in the crown and with this uh, I just Freddie Mercury is like I love Freddie Mercury. So anyway, and this was tonight's. I think that this is like maybe a 9 to 5 kind of dolly because it looks like she's like taking notes or something. But I thought this was oops, this one was cute. So I know they're silly. And then this one was tonight's queen. I'm peeling the tape off the back. They have tape on them so that they don't. I'll just wait and do it later. But yeah, so there's just another one. Isn't that cute? I love them. I'll have to find Mark's. I don't know what he did with them. I looked as I was come running in here and I couldn't find it. So I'm gonna check with the chat, and then we are gonna, get started on this night. Okay. So, okay, gosh, got everything laying in the way. So Heat My Shorts is here. Yeah, y'all don't forget to hit that like and subscribe buttons on the way in. That helps the algorithm, which puts us out to more people, which is what we want. So, anyway, Ben says, I hope by the magic of Christmas you aren't referring to the Star Wars Christmas album, which was mostly disco. No, I wasn't, but maybe I should have, right? Like I might have to add another one in just for Ben. Absolutely. No, so I wasn't. I was basically talking about the magic of Christmas. I can't talk. Basically through a child's eyes kind of thing. So, yeah. Of course, Ben would make it about Star Wars and disco. Yeah, Ben says, how about that Buck Rogers Christmas? I posted the Hollywood industry trying to feed us disco. Well, into the 80s. Should be seen as a crime against humanity. Do y'all get the hint that he doesn't like disco? Mark doesn't either, so they are like, you know, two peas in a pod. Marilene's here. Good to see you. Always. Oh, goodness. Let's look down here. Incarnasol is here. Incarnasol's going to be here with us on Thursday. We're having another go at this deep conversations, but we're not going to go quite as deep this time. We're going to stick to one specific part. So be here Thursday. I think it's at 8 Central, pretty sure, but check the schedule just to make sure because I have had a lot of stuff in my brain today. Say Shades is here. Good to see you. Absolutely. And Carnisol says the magic of Christmas Day is a Christmas song written by Dee Snider. Yes. And so the definitive version of the song is him singing singing it with Lizzie Hale. Well, I would have to think about that one for a little bit. I'm sure I've heard it, but it's not I'll look it up after we get off of here because yeah, even Mare says that she'd forgotten that one. Yep, I knew it, Santa using his cult techniques to keep the elves in order. Yeah. We're gonna look you know, that one might be a fun one when we do that one. I can't remember what day that is, but it's one day this week. Some of them are gonna go more at, like, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so you might have to catch the replay. That's, like, nights that I'm gonna have regular content, so, like, Thursday night and Friday night. If we have well, we will. We our my mind just went blank. Our Christmas themed stuff will be earlier on those because I've gotta fit everything in. Hey, Thompson, good to see you. Really, really good to see you. Let's see here. BI4, it is good to see you. I'm sorry if I'm not, like, reading that correctly. If you don't know, I just had my eyes operated on, and they are still kind of, coming back. So I hadn't seen your name lately, but we're getting a lot of new viewers because we're now streaming in both vertical and horizontal. So yeah, it's kind of been good. We have also had a few trolls that have come in, but those don't last long around here. Our only rule is, y'all, don't be a pee stick. If you don't know what that is, use your best imagination. You'll figure it out. It was a thing of me trying to uh, say something without being in trouble with YouTube. Thompson says you look so refreshing today. Are you talking to me? I thought I looked awful, y'all. I don't know. Yeah, I put some pink in my hair, and this is actually the color pink that it's kind of supposed to be, and kind of this part here, but this one did not take very good. So I'm gonna be freshening it up tomorrow, probably, or the next day. So anyway, I was bored, so I was putting some color in my hair. So anyway, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Love the pink. Thanks, Sai. Or say, Sai. I can never remember. Well, anyway, we're gonna get started, guys, and I just am so happy for everybody to be here. So we are, as I said, on our second night of Vlogmas, and so go ahead and sit by the fire. I am sitting by my fake fire that I painted. I think you can maybe see it way over there in the background. It's right there. It's kind of hard to see. It's dark in here tonight. But, a few years ago, my granddaughter was completely freaked out of how Santa was gonna get into our house because we don't have a fireplace here. So, I tried to assure her that, he would find a way in, and I would even leave a key if he needed one. But and plus, we were adults, no children in our actual home, so I don't know, but she was really worried about it, so I painted that, and do you know I told some of my people because I do paintings for people, and I told some of the customers that I had done it. I was telling them the story about it, and they laughed so much, but I sold like 7 or 8 of them. I was so surprised. Everybody wanted their own fireplace. So, yeah, I'll have to put a picture of it in my, community post so you can actually see what it looks like. But it calmed her fears, and it has kind of become a absolute much demanded Christmas decoration around here. So, anyway, so tonight we are digging into the magic of Christmas. And I'm mostly talking about through the eyes of children, but not only. Sometimes it might be also through the eyes of the adults watching the children, but, or even just the adults, because I just think Christmas is pretty magical whether I'm a child or not. I'll always be a child, I guess. So, but I want us to kind of go down memory lane a little bit. And I really do and want to encourage you all. Hold on, I don't know why this is popping up on the side over here. I got stuff popping up. That don't need to be there, and neither does that. What the heck? Hold on. Oh, crap. That's not what I'm trying to do. Crap, crap, crap. If you can hear me, I will be back. Okay. I hope you could still hear me during that. No idea what was going on. No idea. So, anyway, if you're here on the live, please put your answers to some of these. Yeah, he can walk through walls, right? Just like the aliens. Well, she's 14 now. She's not near as worried about it, but her sister Veta, she's pretty worried about it. She was texting with me earlier about coming over. Well, she was texting about some toys that the dogs took outside, some of our dog and cat toys, and so she's gathered them up, and she said, "I'll bring them back tomorrow." I said, "Okay." But she's also worried about she has to come over here to see where our elves are and what they're doing. So, yeah, she's like, "I don't want them to move till I until I see where they're at." And I said, "I tell them all the time, 'Don't move till Veta sees you.'" So, yeah, and if you wonder about the whole thing about elves, yes. Our first elf, I know this, I'll just take a minute with this. Our first elf that we had was named Pink, and she was all in pink, and she was just the sweetest little elf. Well, then the next year, her elf boyfriend, Blue, showed up. Well, over the years, Blue and Pink got married, and now they have a baby named Rose, which was actually a little bitty baby the first time that she was here, but now she looks, like a toddler or small child, about probably Vetta's age or little younger. So, in the meantime, uh, Pink's brother and sister, who are twins, showed up, which are Candy and Randy. And then, lo and behold, here came this other elf named Rue, which is Blue's brother, and Ruby, which is Pink's best friend. And Ruby was a really good find, y'all. Ruby is a little black elf, which you don't see a lot of any kind of minority elves, but we even have a Japanese one that is with us all the time. She never leaves. Um, Weirdly enough, she's married to an alien and has 2 Smurf children. Yeah, that's some of Vetta's doing. But yeah, we're kind of a little bit over the top with the elves. So, and all that. But it does talk about the magic of Christmas, right? And with children and just like what their imaginations demand. And so, yeah, it's just cool. We have a good time. Christmas is a big deal for us here. So, but anyway, please do, if you are here, let us know the answers to these questions for your self. And if you're on the replay, put it in those comments. I read every one of them, and I love interacting with people in the comments. I really do, except for trolls. Don't so much like that, but yeah. So anyway, number one, and we just have like three or four, I think, tonight. So, what is the Christmas or the Christmases that you remember most? Like, is there a specific Christmas that you will never forget? Hopefully for good reasons, but I guess for bad reasons too. Or traditions that you will never forget you know, that they happened all the time. Did you bring them into your adult life or not? And I want to know about that kind of thing. I really do. Hey, Christy, good to see you too. Always good. So let's see here. I'm gonna Sizes did color extensions, lasted 2 days. Puppy wanted them out, so he chewed them loose. Oh, no. I had extensions one time years ago. It was just a full head of extensions. I just decided I wanted long hair, and this was whenever they were first kind of being popular, and they were still, like, really heavy, and these were the glue-in kind, and I absolutely hated them. I had some later that were much lighter, and they were the sew-in kind, and they were so much better. So, you just make all those braids across your head in circles, and then you just sew them into the hair, and it those are a lot better. I don't even know what they do now because 'cause I'm not in the industry anymore. So, let's see here. Yeah, Heat My Shorts, that is quite an elf family. Yeah, I didn't find one, but I will not I'm not kidding you. I was actually looking today for an elf that I was gonna send you, but I can't find it anymore, but it was an elf in a plane, in an airplane, and I can't find it, but if I find it, you might be getting one in the mail, but I couldn't find it yet, so we shall see. So, oh, I'm trying to keep track of Encarnasoul says, "Ben, does that mean that you are also a disco dance instructor? Just not today or yesterday or ever?" Yeah, I'm gonna think probably never, right? Probably never. Let's see here. Christy says, "I remember a Christmas when I was little and we made homemade candy, and that year I got a New Kids on the Block Christmas." Oh, I got everything I asked for. Oh, it was the only time. I still love the New Kids on the Block. I really do, but I was always a Backstreet Boys fan, and I was an adult, y'all. 'Cause I mean, I'm 59. I mean, it was my kids' time to be, they were into NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and I was like completely team Backstreet Boys, completely. But that's just like whenever they were watching Twilight, and they were both like huge Edward fans, and I'm like, no, I don't like either one of them. I was not a fan of either of I thought they were both kind of, I don't know, a little narcissistic and full of themselves, so I was just like, "No, she needs to just, like, live her best life, this life, not eternity." So, hey, Darcy's good to see you. Keep my short says, "I just remember going to the grandparents' house growing up and the entire family showing up, huge dinners, lots of people, and lots of laughs." The very, very best kind of Christmas. Absolutely. Absolutely. Me and my computer are still not getting along. It really is my fault. Like, I'm just not good at hitting the right places on the key or on the mouse. I need to hook up my wireless mouse. So, Ben says, "I am amazed. As a child, I used to just look into the Christmas tree lights, probably a sign of a simple mind or extreme boredom. But I will always remember that." Oh, I don't know. Me and you must have been a lot alike, Ben, because even to this day, I will literally just sit and stare at the Christmas lights. I just love it. And I will just like, when I look into them enough, it's like I see things, like I can imagine things in my imagination. I can, I don't know, crazy, huh? I think that's why I like my trees so much, is I just like to, and so many of them. I mean, I like to have trees in every room so that no matter where I'm at, I can just, like, stare into the lights, and I don't know, I love it. I absolutely love it. Christy says, "There was also a Christmas where I obviously reacted to a Connect 4 have okay, and didn't get it, but my cousin did, and I was oh my gosh. That's the worst, isn't it? When you don't get the one thing that you wanted, but somebody else does, and you're just like, "Oh, I'm so happy for you." And inside it's like, "Oh, my guts. My heart is broken." Yeah. Let's see here. Marilee says, "I used to be responsible for making the traditional steamed pudding. It was it's the only good memory of Christmas as a kid. Still love the pudding, but my family aren't fans. Sorry, aren't friends. They're not friends." Oh, really? Uh, I'm sorry that you don't have a lot of good, childhood memories of Christmas. I honestly, the memories that I have are kind of mostly just, being together with the family. because we lived out on the desert, and I mean, it was really just us, just the 5 of us so much of the time other than school. And so a lot of the holidays, it was just the 5 of us. A lot of birthdays, it was just the 5 of us, but every once in a while, the whole family, and I can remember when I got a little bit older, the whole family started coming to our house because we were kind of in the middle. I grew up in Central California mostly, and I had family in Southern California and family in Northern California, so we were almost smack dab in the middle for both sides, and they would come down. It was all my mom's relatives, but, um, my dad did have some relatives that lived within about an hour of us, and we would see them. They became almost like, grandparents, like an extra set of grandparents to me because they were older. I mean, they were actually, like, my dad's aunt and uncle, and so, yeah, it was they were, quite a bit older than what my aunts and uncles were, and so they became kinda like grandparents, but I do have some good memories with all that kinda stuff, but I have one memory that lasted 3 years, y'all. On one Christmas morning, I woke up, and I don't know if you all know what the mumps are. We don't really hear about it anymore. And my mom was big on vaccines and stuff. And I was the only one of the 3 of us that got it. But I woke up one Christmas morning and one side of my face was so swollen. I was miserable, just didn't feel good, had the mumps. So, I kinda laid around with a blanket and, feeling sorry for myself all day, but it was still good. And then the next Christmas rolls around. You're not gonna believe it. I woke up Christmas morning with the mumps on the opposite side, and I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Which I probably didn't say that. I was probably like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this," because I was like a goody two shoes. But anyway, I, yeah, 2 Christmases in a row. Well, the thing is if you get it on both sides at the same time, then you won't ever get it again. And I kept telling my mom, "Well, surely, I mean, I've had it on both sides now. Surely it's gonna work. Surely it's gonna work." And so she's like, "Yeah, maybe." And we read stuff and it said it might work and blah blah blah. Next Christmas, I wake up, both sides of my face swollen, worse than ever before. I'm still the only one that's ever gotten it in our family to this day, but 3 Christmases in a row, y'all. So, yeah, that was one of them. I was gonna share a couple things, but they have to do with food, so I'm gonna save those for a live we've got coming up this week, but there is another little memory that I'm gonna tell, and I don't remember it. I remember it, but I don't remember, like, the major details of it. But what basically happens was that my mom and us kids, um, was going to the grocery store to get all of our Christmas food for the meal because we were having all the family. So this was like a couple days before Christmas, and we were going, to get all the food, and we were in this like huge, like a Bonneville or something. It was huge. Like you could fit like a family of 5 or 6 in the trunk alone. So anyway, off to town we go, and we get all the food, and we out with the baskets. I've told this story to some people before, but so anyway, we get out there. The little guy that works there, little guy that sacked the groceries, he's out there, and we're just talking to him, and mom pops the trunk. Well, in the trunk is like it is like full, y'all. And remember how big I said it was. And it is full of weed. See, my uncle had moved from Kentucky to come live with us for a while, and he was a little bit of a weed smoker. And from the looks of it, maybe he did a little selling it. I don't know. He's dead and gone now, or I would ask him. But completely full. I just remember like, looking at that kid, he's a teenager, and looking at him, and his eyes are just like, his, like, mouth, like, hits the ground, and my mom, she takes those groceries and she throws them in that thing, like, right on top of all that everywhere, and just slams that trunk down, and she says, "It's tomato plants." plants, tomato plants. She was so mad. So, oh my god, she cried all the way home. She was so embarrassed. My mom, she was like, uh, she was innocent about stuff. And so, anyway, I'll just never forget, and my dad was pissed, y'all. He was so mad that he went and he got all that out, and I don't even know where my uncle was. He must have been at work or something. But anyway, by the time my uncle got there, my dad had put all that weed out in the middle of the dirt road. We lived on a ranch, and it was a private dirt and gravel drive, and he had put all that weed out on that road and just doused it in diesel and lit it on fire. I mean, I bet I don't remember the smell, but maybe the diesel, drowned out the smell of weed. I don't know, but I'll never forget that. I will absolutely never forget it. So now if we smell weed on Christmas, it's our own fault. It's not my dad burning it in the driveway. So yeah, let me click back through here just a minute before we go to the next question. So let's see here. Don't want to miss anybody. Christy says, "Oh my god, Twilight. Yes, I took all my girls to the premieres." Yeah, I read the books and watched the movies. Like I did that with Twilight and with Harry Potter. Like I told the girls they could read them, but after I read them. So like I would read one, and then Megan, the oldest, would read it, and then Katie, she's younger, she would read it. They didn't mind so much because I was a really fast reader and I could go pick it. I'd be at Walmart and pick them up, and I could have it read by that night or the next night anyway, especially that night usually for Twilight. Might be the next night for Harry Potter. Those were pretty good sized books. So yeah, you forgot about the vertical stream. Yeah. Everybody came to your mom's house, Darcy's? Yeah. Oh my goodness. I cannot imagine. I would be so terrified. I remember having real candles on real Christmas trees. We would just sit and enjoy the candles when they were lit. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're sitting there watching it, but I would be so scared. I would be so scared. I really would. I'm paranoid about that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm with Christy. I don't think that Ben has a simple mind. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. Oh, he says stuff, and I literally like Ben will be making like either he and I will be having like some kind of a comment on in Messenger, or we'll be all of us in the mod chat having a conversation or something. And I'll just be sitting there thinking, I am not smart enough to converse with him. I am like dumb. I don't, but I bet you were, Christy, devastated over that Connect Four. Yes, I can imagine. I always got every year, I always knew what I was getting from Santa. I always got the the newest of the Miss America Barbies. Back in the day, every year they came out with a new Miss America Barbie to kind of coincide with whoever had won Miss America. And so like I had tons of them. I don't have them anymore. I wish I did. Marilee says, "You just reminded me of a fun Christmas memory. Brother and I were tasked with taking down the tree. So we used a vacuum cleaner to suck the tinsel off." Oh my God. Is that one of those? If you do it badly, you won't be asked to do it again. I bet your mom was pissed. Oh my God. Mm. Christy says, "We were really poor growing up, and so Christmas was a big deal because my parents tried really hard. So I do remember the gifts, but because they were so very special." Absolutely. That's kind of with us. I mean, it was special. We didn't get stuff throughout the year. We got new clothes when school started, and we would just get clothes that was for the fall and winter, and we just had to wear what we had that we had gotten for the summer. which we had been wearing all spring and summer. But really in California, the fall and winter, other than having a coat for the occasional day that it, might have dropped down to 40 or something. I don't even wear a coat if it's not in the 30s anymore, but yeah. Oh, I bet Marilee saying it was so much fun. Yeah, Chris Mumps. Absolutely. Instead of Christmas, it was Chris Mumps. Ugh. Yeah, we were pretty poor too. Everybody thought that we were rich because we lived in um I don't know if you know who Frank Phillips is, but it's like Phillips Oil Company. And we lived in what was his first mansion. Now, not at all a mansion by today's standards, but it was a big, beautiful, nice home. And so all the kids thought that we were rich, but we didn't pay for that house. It came with my dad's job. We were barely getting by. But yeah, the house, the electric, all that was paid for with my dad's job. In a company vehicle. But I do remember one Christmas with that. I was probably 12, maybe 11, but probably 12. I don't know. I can't remember. But there was this house, I mean, it was huge, but it was built. It's my cat on the back of the chair. It was built for entertaining, not for family, because they were already, their kids were grown by the time they made it big. And so it only had 2 bedrooms, but it had all this entertainment space. It had an intercom. It was unreal. I mean, it was all like wood floors or this expensive Spanish tile floors and knotty pine, and I mean, it was crazy. But yeah, we would skate. We would act like we were ice skating across the wood floors in what was the formal dining room. Yeah, we had furniture down at one end by the fireplace where we could watch Elvis Presley movies at Christmas and had a tree in there at Christmas. And then we had a pool table down by the other end. Well, that was almost like that it was a circle. And so we would ice skate around the circle and I would, you know, sing and put on shows for my parents. We would make it was crazy. I thought I was an entertainer back then and I don't know. Not anymore. I much, much more shy. But anyway, so this house, okay, we lived there, and one Christmas, my not my gift, but one of the gifts that I got was my parents gave me my own room by cleaning out the room that was not when we lived there, but when the Phillips lived there. It was their maid's quarters, and it was off of the kitchen, and it had an outside entrance. And my dad had used it as a tack room and had the saddles and all that kinda stuff in there. And so he cleaned all that out without me knowing what was going on, and they had it all fixed up and ready for me and gave that to me. That's why it was the first time I had ever had my own room. And I mean, I cried and cried and cried because that was like the favorite room for me in the house, mainly because it smelled like horses and leather and all that. And that's still to this day, like just one of my most favorite smells in the world because the memories that it invokes in me. Because, we grew up on a ranch, a working cattle ranch. My dad was on a horse, 14, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I just, life's so different now, but the smells take me back. But yeah, oh, I'll never forget that room. And my mom was like, "I'm sorry, it's been so long. I couldn't get the smell of the leather and everything out of here. I've cleaned and cleaned and cleaned." And I'm like, "Don't. I want it to smell like that." So, of course, then I kept my saddle and stuff in there so that it would still have that smell. So, but yeah, anyway. I think it can make it more special if you realize how hard everyone had to work. I agree, Christy, I really do. Let's see what Ben said. That's one thing that battles with my experiences with my mom later on, but as I have noted, she did the best with what she had available to her. Absolutely. And I think that when we grow and mature and we're adults and we can see the world more through the eyes of what our parents were doing, I think that, we understand that they might not have been perfect, and sometimes they might have kinda sucked, honestly. But a lot of times they really were doing the best that they had, best they could do with what they had. Not always, there's always exceptions to that rule, but a lot of times they really were trying. My parents made it crazy. I was talking about my dad doing the jingle bells outside the window on Christmas Eve and making deer tracks with mud. And, I mean, we would be coming home from shopping because my dad would get paid on Christmas Eve, and we would have to go shopping, and they would, like, somehow manage to get all of our Christmas without us seeing it. I think it was a lot of pointing and grunting at store clerks to put it, in a bag, and they'd be to the front to pay for it in a little bit. But my dad, we'd be coming home, and it'd be dark, and he would see, like, lights on, like, the antennas, like, on the radio antennas and stuff. And he would make us believe that that was Santa, and you never saw 3 kids run and, I mean, brush their teeth, put their pajamas on, and it was ass up. Our heads was under those pillows, asses in the air, trying to get to sleep before Santa got there or passed us by. He'd make up this big story about that, where he had to he still has to go this direction, and but you've only got about 30 minutes. Ugh, I'll never forget that. And then even as an adult, and I forgot to put that picture on. I don't know what I've done with my tissues. But my dad, to this day, he plays Santa, and he always has. So I'll have to put that picture of my dad as Santa in my community post. Ben says one of my friends had a huge stone house because his father was the manager of a copper plant. God, guys, huge, but yeah, haunted as all get. Oh, I bet. Yeah, that's how you used to wax the floor as kids? That's funny. Yeah, my mom, she always said that she just had to wash our socks after a good skating day, after we had skated for a while. If she needed to clean that floor, she'd be like, she would literally put pledge or I don't know what it was, but something, some kind of like, stuffed it wasn't wet, it was something she sprayed on, but anyway, like an end dust. She would spray that on our socks, and it made them even slipperier, and we would skate all over the place, and then you'd kinda sit back and look and see where you needed to go. Slave labor, I'm telling you, slave labor. Okay, so let's see here, number 2. So we've covered this a little bit. We're going to go back into it a little more. What are some of the toys or other gifts that you begged for? And did you get them? Yeah, paste wax did work the best. We did that too. But yeah, she would make us for sure do the just getting the dust off. We lived on a dirt road, so it would get dusty a lot more often than it actually needed to be waxed. So but, I remember my kids wanting Cabbage Patch Dolls. I remember wanting a Light Bright and the Easy Bake Oven. Mark talks about wanting trains and cowboy and Indian sets, and he had a bunch of GI Joe dolls. They were kinda like Barbies, but for boys, and they were GI Joe. And he had all the stuff that goes with it, and his mom would make all these extra clothes for him and clothes for whenever they would have leave apparently, and so they would need, clothes for the beach and all this. It was so cool. His mom's pretty awesome. So, anyway, so do y'all remember toys that you wanted? Did you get them? Did you not? What was your favorite if you did? Or, is there that one, like with Christy, that got away and damn it, somebody else got it? Let me get the drink real quick, y'all. My my cat's over there just pouncing on I don't even know what. So, yeah, let's see here. I'm gonna check with I keep moving my papers. I'm losing track of where I'm at. Move that too. Okay. Da, 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 da. Oh, I bet. Steve, I loved building plastic car and aircraft model kits. I bet you did. You never grew out of that, did you? Yeah, I think that is such a cool thing. Um, he has a flight simulator for those of you that don't know, and he's always talking about it, and I'm just, like, amazed. One of these days, I wanna be like, "Okay, we're gonna have to, like, have you on, and you can explain this." Maybe he could explain it from there. That would be cool. So you'll have to, like, tell him to do that. We'll have to have him on. I'm knocking over stuff. Good grief. I've got pictures that I'm gonna hang up in here. I've got, like, some Christmas pictures that I'm gonna hang out in the living room. They're acting like crazy animals, and yeah, you did not ever grow out of that. Here we go, let's see this. Christy says, "I wanted a radio and a Tiffany tape." Oh gosh, Tiffany. Yes. Oh my gosh. I got both. One year, mom gave us money to put things on layaway for Christmas. I bought my brother a bunch of the He-Man toys, yeah. He got me a Barbie. Aw, that's so sweet. Yeah, that is really sweet. I just love that. Um, Jovi, she's the 14-year-old Vetta's sister, and then Vetta, she's 9. They are the sweetest things. If you give them money or something for, like, Christmas gifts, they will, or anything, like, anything. If you give them money, they're gonna go buy something for everyone else and not even themselves. More so Jovi. Now, a little caveat to that is, which you all will see when Vetta does her little Christmas Temu haul this week, I think it's gonna be Sunday. Um, she bought for her mom and her dad and both brothers and her sister, but she also bought 2 things for herself. But I've made her not get them. They're here, but I told her, I said, "Nope, you can't take them home until we do that show, because I wanna show show them in the show, and I don't wanna be like, 'You forgot to bring these back,'" or one of them is house shoes. She bought herself some little slippers, and I know her, she'll be wearing them outside and everything else, and those cute little white house shoes are gonna be filthy. So, yeah, I'm making her leave them here, but yeah. Oh, he did. He built the flight simulator. How amazing. Yeah, we need to have him on here. I know you're hearing me. Model building is something that impresses me. I was into it, but I wasn't great at it. Ben, that's something that, like, my little cousin, when he was 2 or 3, he started out building the ones that were pretty simple for kids, and then he did that, they progressed into harder and harder and harder ones. And then I have a nephew that was the same way. He just, like, is amazing what he could do. I always was fascinated by it and never good at it. But Mark did it, and I don't know where all of his are. They're probably in the attic at his mom's house. I'll have to Next time we're over there, I'll have to say, "Where's all of Mark's model cars?" Which is probably that's probably a huge mistake. Because if we ever get up in that attic, we're probably gonna need to go rent a U-Haul trailer to bring all the stuff that she's gonna want out of the attic that Mark had, because everything is in the attic. I'm kinda fine with it staying there and maybe just getting a couple here and there. Aw. Oh, his flight simulator is currently not working. My laptop will not cast it to the TV screen for some reason. I'd love to talk about it sometime, though. Absolutely, we will plan that. Maybe for next week. I'm looking at doing some shows next week. I'm currently booking for next week, so I'll message you later, and or it might be tomorrow. I'm serious, or even the next day. I've got a couple of really busy days coming up, so okay, let's see here. What about family traditions? So, did you all have, like, matching PJs? Did you go caroling? Did you go to candlelight services, midnight mass, anything like that? Any of your aunts or your grandmas cook weird foods or favorite foods for that matter? And what about, like, the night before Christmas? Did you all read that story every year, or was that something you didn't do? I'm just really curious. And also, when do you or did you open gifts? Did you open gifts on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, first thing in the morning, or was there rituals that you had to go through, like, after breakfast or, after church services or something? I'm just really curious with what you all did. We didn't have a whole lot. We didn't as a child, we didn't have matching pajamas and everything. We got new pajamas, and my mom would take our pictures in them, and so I carried that over with my girls that I would, let them open one gift on Christmas Eve that I got to pick it, and they never could figure out that it was always going to be pajamas. It still is, y'all. I still buy matching pajamas for everybody. And it's always they can open them on Christmas Eve. We didn't do caroling, we lived out in the country, I never really had that opportunity, but I would have loved it, and I would have loved to have had people come and carol at my house, but, I mean, seriously, we were, like, 20 miles from town, and that town was, like, a single stoplight, if it even had that, if it even had that. I can't remember it having one, but actually, it might have. I don't remember. We, um, we went to church a lot, um, especially on Christmas Eve, but not always, um, but we would, and if Christmas fell on a Sunday, then we went on Sunday, but, yeah. I don't remember any weird foods except for a couple that we're gonna talk about later on, which weren't so weird, it was just it was a situational thing, and no, my parents didn't read, The Night Before Christmas to us. We knew it. I mean, they read it, but it wasn't like a Christmas tradition. Um, Basically because we were always out late with them getting our Christmas presents and then them wanting us in bed because I mean, they had a lot to wrap and, Santa had to come. But we did read it, but then I did start reading it to the kids as I had children. And I do read it to the grandkids now, not on Christmas Eve, but when they're here close to Christmas, I always sit down and read it to them. And other than the pajamas that I always let them open, we opened gifts early, early, early Christmas morning, before breakfast, before church, before everything. I mean, 6 o'clock, we were up opening gifts, and that's what we did with my kids too. So yeah, that's kind of ours. Now I'm gonna look back and see what you all are saying. Hold on. Okay. We made Christmas candy, it was amazing, and my favorite candy was called Old Dead Dog. It was really called Cathedral Windows, I don't know why we called it Old Dead Dog. Oh my. Ugh. One thing we make candies and treats and everything, and Veta has been already bugging me since about September to make Christmas treats. So I'm probably gonna have to do that with her, not this weekend, but maybe next weekend. But, her favorite to make is you take Rolo's candy, and you get the square or else just the mini, but either one, either the square or the mini pretzels, and we put a pretzel and the Rolo's candy and then another pretzel, and I pop them in the oven just long enough to see it start to melt a little bit and pop them out and poke them down together so they make like a little sandwich. And those are so good. It's the perfect combination of sweet and salty. And we go through tons of them. Everybody wants them. And we were going to the farmer's market and Veta was like she wanted to make this candy, right? Well, she made one cookie sheet and then she's like, "I'm gonna go play. I'm tired." So when I get ready to make candy with her, I'm assuming that I might be the one making candy. But her sister, Jovi, even when she was 3 or 4 years old, she would hang forever. She would make candy all day. She helped me can. She helped me make cinnamon rolls. She helped me make jerky. She helped me make everything. And so, we do a lot of that kinda stuff this time of year. Mainly the jerky because it's deer season, and I make jerky for a lot of friends that get deer. They'll bring me and we do it on shares, like, so they bring over the meat and then, like, they get 50% of it and I get 50% of it because they supplied the meat and I supplied my own special marinade, y'all, and, and the time. I have, like, 4 big 12 tray dehydrators, so you can imagine what my house smells like this time of year. So, anyway, gosh, my nose is, like, driving me crazy, and I took allergy medicine. So, let's see here. Yeah, I think that's so funny. Old dead dog. Yeah, this makes sense. We opened presents with one side of the family on the 24th and one the 25th and the 23rd. Yeah. Yeah, you have special days that you do everything. Mark's family does theirs on Christmas Eve, and then my family does everything on Christmas, so it works out so good. My favorite day of the whole holiday season, though, you would think it'd be like the 26th when it's over, but it's not. It's the 23rd. I call it Christmas Eve Eve. I know I'm not the only one that calls it that, but I've called it that since I was a kid, and I call it Christmas Eve Eve. And to me, it just felt like that, like, everything was done by then, that and when I got a little older and could stay home while, with the kids while the parents went and did the shopping, because my parents got paid once a month, and so, you know, they had to wait till, like, the 23rd, 24th, usually the 24th to I don't know why his boss couldn't have paid him a couple days early, that's ridiculous. Thinking back on it, now I think about it with my adult brain, and I'm thinking, "What a dick." He couldn't have paid him, like, a couple of days early? Ugh, what an ass. I mean, you know, it's not like he got paid by the hour, he was on salary and he worked constant. So, and anyway, but yeah, Christmas Eve Eve, my favorite day of the year. I love it even now, like, that's the night. I don't do anything that day. I sit on my butt in pajamas all day long, and we usually order pizza, and we watch Christmas movies, and if the kids come over, I play with the kids and read and that kinda stuff, but all the work stops on the 23rd, which only makes me have to work harder on the 24th, but I don't know, I still do it that way. When you're my mom, because we snoop so much. Oh, no, that's Mark. She put my brothers, maybe one of my presents and vice versa, and then we had to switch. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Now we do Christmas lights at botanical gardens and parades, just Michael and I. Aw, yeah. We always go when we go to his mom's on the 24th, we'll drive around and look at the Christmas lights. We do other times too, but that's the time that it's just Mark and I. And I don't know, I like it, we'll sometimes we'll, like, make some hot cocoa or something when we're still at his mom's, or we'll and get, like, a stop at Sonic and get like a like a shake, and I don't know, just drive around. There's a place out there. I'll have to tell you the story about this place later. I'm not gonna do it tonight because it's long. But there's this business, and they literally have it lit up. They're it's a huge business, and it's, like, over a mile. It's like 2 miles that they own the land, and they light that whole damn thing up, deep into it. Like, there's way back, there's lights too, and it is gorgeous. I don't think they're gonna do it this year because they're in under investigation. And, it's pretty bad. But they did say something about they didn't think there was gonna be lights this year. When we drove by the other day, I didn't see any that were, being replaced, so I don't think they're gonna do it, but it's gonna be sad because they've been doing that for, like, 20 years. Yeah, it sounds tasty. Yeah. Ben says, "I deserve a gold star for avoiding making Tiffany tr true. A good portion of it is fear that Christy." will make me drool in a bucket, but still. Now, Tiffany was good. I'm hearing her sing in my head, y'all. Okay, try that again. I deserve a gold star for avoiding making Tiffany comments. True. A good portion of it is fear that Christy will make me drool in a bucket, but still. I actually kind of knew what you were saying, but I was like, I'm just going to read it. Okay. We made divinity. I've never made that. My mom used to love it, but I've never made it. Cathedral windows, brittle cookies, and then we would put it on when we opened presents. Oh, fudge and fruitcake. I love fudge. I always make fudge and cookies and lots of candies and stuff, but I haven't made peanut brittle in forever. My dad absolutely loves it, and I need to make him some, but he's getting older, guys, and he still has his teeth. I mean, he's in 78 and he still has all his teeth, but his teeth are getting like a little weak where the brittle kind of hurts when he eats it. And so I know he's gonna eat it because he loves it, but then he's gonna suffer for days afterwards because his mouth is gonna hurt. So, I don't know. I need to find him something else, but he does love my fudge, and I always make him some jerky that's not quite as tough as some of the others. He likes it where it's more, where you can, like, bite into it and chew it instead of kinda, Ugh. Oh, you've become a bit obsessed with dehydrating lately? I love it. Absolutely love it. Poor Ben. Christy, me, you, and Ben need to do a show, and we just need to talk about all the fun stuff and just let Ben just sit there and have to be entertained by us. Ben, you can make comments. I'm in the new Stranger Things. Yeah, I'm the new Stranger Things. They play ones for songs. I turned into a lip sync diva. I've never watched Stranger Things. Never watched it. What was that other one where, like, The Living Dead or some I don't know, something. I always think The Grateful Dead, and I'm like, "No, that's a band." Yes, we do. We appreciate the level of struggle that Ben is having. Yeah. I've got to start those. I just think they are on Netflix, but maybe Amazon has a season or something. You might look. Amazon's been having some pretty cool stuff on. I watch a lot of Amazon Christmas movies and stuff, which I do have a Hallmark subscription, so I watch a lot of Hallmark actually from my Amazon account. But anyway, but yeah, they have a lot of stuff on there. Okay, so Marilee says mine is a 27th because that is the day my miracle daughter was born. The miracle was that despite having meningitis, she grew up strong and healthy. You can't get better than that. You can't get better than that. Absolutely. That is awesome. Yes, a gold star for Ben. Yeah, peanut brittle yummers. I'll have to make some. Maybe I'll make some and just tell my dad not to eat a lot of it, and then I could send it to some of my mods. I need to send them, like, a care package, but I have to make sure that it's stuff that, is not gonna go bad because it takes forever to get stuff to Canada. So, let's see here. Yes, we should do that show for sure. We don't even need a topic. We will just randomly talk about things, and Ben just has to be there. It's too bad, really, that we couldn't all 3 actually be in the same location, but it'll be close enough to have him on screen with us. Yeah, Stranger Things, yeah. Okay, let's see if I have any more. Oh, we do, we have one more. Okay. What about Santa? So, do you all still believe in Santa? Because I do. My mom told me that as long as you believe in Santa Claus, that he will continue to show up. And so I plan on being well into my 80s, potentially 90s, before I even start to even consider that he's not real. Yeah, people wonder why you have resting Ben face. So, what about you? Do you still believe? Do you not believe? What was, can you remember the excitement of waiting for Santa or having your picture taken with Santa? Just wondering all about those. I remember one year, gosh, my sister, she was probably ugh, 3, I'm going to say. And we went to this store. It was called Coronets in California. And we always went there to see Santa. And this year, Santa was a black Santa. Didn't matter to us, we couldn't have cared less, right? I honestly don't even think I noticed. Little sister noticed. She didn't, have anything negative about him. We all got our picture taken, told him what we wanted, and we're in the car, that huge Bonneville, and we're headed home, and my little sister's like she goes, "Mommy?" My mom's like, "What, baby?" And she says, "That wasn't the real Santa." And my mom says, "Well, yeah, it was." And she says, "No, it wasn't." And my mom's like, "Well, I think it was, honey. I think that the real Santa was there." And she says, "Mommy, he was black." And my mom said, "Oh," kind of that shit. What am I going to say now? I mean, I don't want to, you're so afraid that your kids are going to be racist or anything like that. And my little sister, she sits there and she says, "I bet it was his cousin." No, I have no idea. No idea why she would think that it would be his cousin because he was black, but she did. She thought it was Santa's cousin. And my mom was like, "I bet you're right. I bet you're right. I bet that, Santa couldn't make it to all the places, and so I bet it was his cousin." So, y'all, if you see a black Santa, doesn't mean it's not real. It just might be his cousin. So, mm, yeah, yeah. Christy says, "I believe in Santa. His name is Michael, and he brings you red-bottom shoes." Oh my. Well, my Santa is named Mark, and he brings me diamonds. Mhm. But one year, in fact, it was after that one that he started bringing me diamonds. One year, he gave me a box. He's always a jokester, and he gave me a box from this, um, jewelry store in Savannah that pretty much all of my jewelry comes from there. And I was like, "We've not been to Savannah." And I thought, well, he could have, he could have ordered it because, I order my Uggs from a shoe store in Savannah. I order my art supplies from an art store, and we order a lot of stuff from Savannah. We're just, I like to get it from mom and pop stores, and if they're not here where I can get it, then the next best thing is where we spend so much time. So, yeah. So here was this jewelry box, a little ring box, and I open it up, and in it is the most, like, janky, old costume jewelry ring that has probably been in the bottom of one of the kids' toy boxes that they've played with for, you know, years. And when I pull this jewelry box out, the entire family looks at me like, "Oh my god." Mark, he's, score kind of deal. He's like, "Thanks. The rest of us are gonna, you know, look bad now." No, it was a piece of crap ring. I punched him, y'all. I literally, doubled up my fist and punched him in the arm as hard as I could. Needless to say, he has not tricked me again. Now, I don't care if he gives me a pack of gum for Christmas, but don't be a pack of gum that was in the bottom of my purse and now it tastes like perfume and stuff, and has hair on it. I don't care what he gets me. I never have cared, ever. But and I knew that that kinda made me in some ways made me look bad because I was so mad. And he did get me I don't remember what it was that year, but he did get me something. It wasn't jewelry. The jewelry started the next year. But, he did get me nice gifts always, but I don't know what possessed him to think that that was gonna be funny because it was not. Yeah, Soulful Santa's cousin. I love it. I do too. I do too. Absolutely. I'll never forget that. I bet it's his cousin. Yeah, that's like open a Tiffany's box to a ring pop. I understand where you're coming from. I did get a new wedding ring last year. Aw, that's so sweet. Yeah, I got this one's been about 8 years ago. I don't know if you can see it, but I got this ring. It came from not this one. This one. It came from Savannah and it's about 3 carats. It's got them on the side too, and it's shaped like a coach, like the queen or the princess or something rides in it, and it was actually, made for somebody. It's very old, it's an antique, and this jewelry store that we shop at, they sell new and vintage or antique jewelry, and I saw that, and I absolutely fell in love with it and thought that there was no way in hell I was gonna get it. It was incredibly expensive, and, it's platinum and, like, 3 carats, and anyway, he got it for me, but he gave it to me while we were still there. He couldn't he knew he couldn't hide it. He was afraid that it would get lost or stolen or something in the hotel, and so, yeah, he gave it to me later that day, but it was for Christmas. It was right after Christmas. This was, like, the 26th or 27th, because a lot of times the day after Christmas, we'll fly to Savannah. We're not this year, but a lot of times we will for, like, a couple weeks. Yeah, I love antique jewelry. Yes, what a find. Yeah, I also have, Paula Dean got us a bunch of her friends, uh, they're not real, but they're very, very good quality of costume jewelry, but it's, like a copy of a ring that Michael bought for her that all of us just oohed and awed over. And told him, "Yeah, you need to get that one, she'll like that one," and he had it designed and everything. So then she had about, I think, 8 or 9 of them designed for some of us, so I have that too, but they're not real. Hers is gorgeous and, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars, and I don't know what she paid for ours, but they're not real, but I've had it for probably 15 years, and it still looks just as pretty as it did, but I don't wear it because it's so big. I Where do I go to wear something like that? Except for when we go to Savannah, I'll wear it if I'm gonna see her. So, I'll have to show y'all sometime. I did get that, but that wasn't Mark buying it, it was Paula. But anyway, well, guys, I think that's all I've got tonight. I'm gonna go. I'm surprised Mark's not home. He must have ran by the grocery store. So, I'm gonna go and plan tomorrow's live. We've got some really good shows coming up the next couple of weeks, so y'all keep checking in with us and just check those times because 'cause they're gonna be a little bit all over the place. So, I love you. Thank you so, so much for being here and listening to me ramble on, and I love you guys, and I'll be back tomorrow. I think tomorrow's at 6:30 Central too, so I'll see you then. Bye.
Hope you enjoyed the show, so glad you were here. We meet here most days, we're but first coffee and you're welcome here. We talk about hard subjects, but we also laugh a lot. If you have a loss or win, we will cheer for you. We're but first coffee and you are safe here. So hit those like and subscribe buttons said to all. You don't wanna miss a show, because this is your home to y'all. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to all. You don't wanna miss a show, because this is your home to y'all. So hit those like and subscribe buttons.